Ramadan is a sacred month for Muslims around the world, a time for spiritual reflection, fasting, prayer, and community. It's a time when millions gather in mosques and public spaces to observe their faith. But, sadly, Ramadan has also been the backdrop for tragic events, terror attacks, bombings, and other violent acts targeting innocent worshippers. This video explores 7 major terror attacks that occurred during Ramadan in the past 30 years, examining their impact and drawing critical lessons on safety and awareness for those observing this sacred month. Whether you're attending prayers at your local mosque or gathering with loved ones for iftar, understanding the risks and taking steps to stay safe is more important than ever. We'll dive into each attack, explore the reasons behind these tragedies, and, most importantly, offer advice on how to ensure your safety when in crowded spaces during Ramadan. Let's get started. 1. The 2004 Iraq Ramadan bombings. Overview of the event. During Ramadan 2004, multiple bombings occurred across Iraq, particularly in Baghdad, targeting public spaces and mosques where worshippers were gathered for prayer. The attacks were part of a broader campaign of insurgency and terrorism during the height of the Iraq War. Analysis. These bombings were not isolated events, but rather part of a larger effort to destabilize the country. Terrorists often exploit religious periods like Ramadan to create maximum impact, knowing that people will be gathered in large numbers for prayer and communal activities. Lessons learned. The attacks highlighted the vulnerability of religious gatherings in volatile regions. Being aware of the potential for violence during such times is crucial for everyone, particularly in conflict zones. Safety advice. Avoid attending large, crowded public events if you're in an area with active conflicts. Stay alert to unusual activities and keep emergency contacts on hand. If you must attend public gatherings, choose those with a heightened security presence. 2. The 2014 Peshawar Mosque bombing, Pakistan. Overview of the event. On the 20th of Ramadan, a bomb exploded at a mosque in Peshawar, Pakistan, during the Friday prayers. Over 30 people were killed, and many more were injured. The attack was attributed to militants seeking to destabilize Pakistan's already fragile security situation. Analysis. Peshawar has been a target for extremist groups due to its proximity to the Afghanistan border and its role as a stronghold of political and religious tension. Attacks on religious sites during Ramadan not only target physical spaces, but also aim to sow fear within the Muslim community. Lessons learned. Religious extremism and terrorism have no boundaries, and no place of worship is immune to attack. Even during a time of peace and reflection, places of worship can become targets. This attack further reinforced the need for better security measures during public prayers. Safety advice. If possible, attend mosques and religious sites that have heightened security. Pay attention to local news about any security threats or warnings. Be cautious in regions with a history of extremist violence, and be prepared to leave if you notice any signs of danger. 3. The Sinai Mosque attack, 2017, Egypt. Overview of the event. In November 2017, a mosque in North Sinai, Egypt, was attacked during Friday prayers, the 25th day of Ramadan. The assailants killed more than 300 people, making it one of the deadliest attacks in Egypt's history. The attackers were reportedly targeting a Sufi mosque in an effort to punish the community for their peaceful religious practices. Analysis. The Sinai attack was a stark reminder of the extreme violence targeting religious minorities. The fact that it took place during Ramadan, when worshippers are most vulnerable, shows how terrorists exploit the heightened visibility of religious observance to spread fear and destruction. Lessons learned. Communities that practice peaceful forms of worship, such as the Sufi community, are particularly at risk in certain regions. The attack on the mosque was also a demonstration of how terrorism can impact communities simply seeking spiritual solace. Safety advice. Always choose places of worship that are known for their safety measures. Consider attending smaller prayer groups or private services if public gatherings are deemed unsafe. Stay informed about potential threats to specific religious communities in your area. 4. The 2017 mosque attack in Afghanistan. Overview of the event. In June 2017, a suicide bomber attacked a mosque in Kabul, Afghanistan, during the evening prayers of Ramadan. The attack, which killed at least 20 people, was claimed by ISIS, highlighting the ongoing threat posed by extremist groups in Afghanistan. Analysis. Afghanistan has been a war-torn country for decades, and during Ramadan, people often let their guard down as they come together in worship. Terrorists have increasingly targeted religious gatherings as a way to send political messages and disrupt the social fabric of the country. Lessons learned. The attack on the mosque in Kabul is a tragic reminder that public spaces, even religious ones, can become battlegrounds for extremist ideologies. Communities in war zones must always remain cautious and aware, even during the most sacred times of the year. Safety advice. Avoid attending large public events in areas with ongoing conflict. If you are in an unstable region, consider celebrating Ramadan in the safety of your home with your family. Keep a low profile in regions prone to terrorist activity. 5. The Christchurch Mosque Attack, 2019, New Zealand. Overview of the event. In March 2019, a terrorist attack on 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, left 51 people dead. Although this occurred outside Ramadan, its impact on the Muslim community was felt during the month, as Muslims worldwide mourned the loss of life during a time of sacred observance. Analysis. The Christchurch attack was an act of white nationalist terrorism and became a major talking point for global Islamophobia. Even though it did not occur during Ramadan, it underscored the vulnerability of Muslim communities, particularly when they gather in large numbers to worship. Lessons learned. Religious intolerance and terrorism can affect communities everywhere. The Muslim community in New Zealand and across the world continues to seek justice and safety in the wake of such tragedies. Safety advice. Never assume any place is immune to attack. Always be aware of your surroundings. Join community efforts to improve safety at local mosques, including the installation of security cameras and safety protocols. Engage in interfaith dialogue to foster understanding and peace between different communities. As we reflect on these tragic events, it's essential to understand that terrorism is not a reflection of any religion, but an extreme interpretation of ideologies that seek to sow division and fear. During Ramadan, a time of peace and devotion, we must remain vigilant, not just for our personal safety, but for the safety of our communities. The lessons we can draw from these incidents emphasize the importance of being aware of our surroundings, choosing secure locations for prayer, and always having an emergency plan in place. As you celebrate this holy month, remember that your safety and the safety of those around you should always be a priority. Let's remain united, stay vigilant, and work together to ensure that our places of worship remain safe havens for peace and reflection. 6. Mass arrests in Saudi Arabia during Ramadan, 2017. Overview of the event. During Ramadan in 2017, Saudi authorities conducted mass arrests of activists, dissidents, and even some members of the clergy who were perceived as threats to the government. While not a typical terrorist attack, this crackdown raised concerns about religious freedom and the safety of those who may be protesting or calling for political reforms during such a sacred time. Analysis. Saudi Arabia, as the birthplace of Islam and the home of Mecca and Medina, plays a significant role in the Muslim world. While it is known for enforcing strict religious laws, Ramadan is also a time when many choose to voice their opinions about the government, especially during times of political unrest. The government's heavy-handed response in 2017 resulted in the detention of several prominent figures during the holy month. This event serves as a reminder that Ramadan, despite being a time for reflection and prayer, is also a time when governments, particularly in authoritarian regimes, may clamp down on dissent more harshly. Lessons learned. This incident underscores the importance of understanding the political context in which Ramadan is observed. In some parts of the world, participation in protests or public demonstrations, even those that are peacefully conducted, can put individuals at risk of arrest, particularly during sensitive times like Ramadan. The event also highlights the challenges that Muslim-majority countries may face when balancing religious observance and political freedoms. Safety advice. Be aware of local political climates before participating in public events, especially if your country or region is politically unstable. Understand the risks of being in politically sensitive areas during times of political unrest. Stay informed about local news and government policies that may affect your safety during Ramadan. 7. Fire in a mosque in Indonesia, 2020. Overview of the event. In the final days of Ramadan 2020, a mosque in Indonesia was destroyed by a fire. The fire caused significant damage and several people were injured. The fire was suspected to have been started by faulty electrical equipment. Although it wasn't a direct terrorist attack, this tragedy highlighted the risks of public places, including religious sites, during a time when large numbers of people are gathered for prayer. Analysis. While fires in public spaces are a more common form of disaster, the emotional and psychological toll of such an event during Ramadan is profound. For those attending prayers or participating in religious activities, such disasters can feel particularly traumatic. In a month when people are most focused on their faith, the sudden loss or damage to a sacred place disrupts a sense of safety and security. Lessons learned. This event emphasizes the need for proper infrastructure and safety measures in religious spaces. While security threats from human actors are often highlighted, natural or accidental hazards like fires should also be part of the safety plan for public gatherings. Safety advice. Always check the safety measures of religious venues you plan to attend, especially regarding fire exits, sprinkler systems, and electrical systems. If you are part of a mosque or religious organization, consider suggesting safety checks and fire drills for the congregation. Encourage members of the community to remain calm in case of emergencies and know how to evacuate safely. Conclusion: how to stay safe during Ramadan. The attacks and incidents we've covered throughout this video are only a fraction of the many tragedies that have occurred during Ramadan. But they serve as powerful reminders that, regardless of how peaceful and spiritual this month is, we must remain vigilant. Key takeaways. 1. Stay aware of your surroundings. Always remain alert to any potential threats, whether from extremist groups, political instability, or accidents. Avoid becoming complacent simply because you're in a place of worship. When in crowded spaces, especially during times like Ramadan, you need to be vigilant about your surroundings. 2. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Trust your gut feelings and take precautions. If you see something unusual in your environment, report it to authorities or mosque management immediately. 3. Use secure locations. For larger gatherings, always opt for those locations that have demonstrated strong security practices. Check for well-lit, monitored areas and avoid risky or poorly maintained spaces. 4. Stay informed. Whether you live in a volatile region or are visiting, always stay updated on local news and advisories. Governments often issue warnings about the risks of mass gatherings, so it's important to follow these updates, especially during Ramadan. 5. Practice safety and prepare for emergencies. Make sure that you, your family, and your community know how to respond to emergencies, whether it's a terrorist attack, natural disaster, or medical emergency. Practice evacuation plans, know the location of emergency exits, and keep your phone charged with emergency contact information. Final thoughts. Ramadan is a time for spiritual reflection, prayer, and unity. However, it is also a time when we must be aware of the realities of the world around us. Terrorist attacks, political crackdowns, and even natural disasters can impact our safety, especially when we are in large crowds or vulnerable spaces. By understanding the risks, being aware of our surroundings, and following safety protocols, we can help ensure that Ramadan remains a peaceful time for worship, reflection, and connection with others. May this Ramadan be one of peace, safety, and spiritual growth for all of us. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this information useful, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that explores important topics related to safety, security, and spirituality. Share this video with your loved ones to help raise awareness and ensure that everyone can observe Ramadan safely. As we come together in prayer and reflection, let's make safety a priority, not just for ourselves, but for our communities as well. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and stay connected.